A couple was placed under house arrest after one of the individuals tested positive for COVID, and they were forced now to wear ankle bracelets. They're under house arrest. This is one of the freakiest stories I have ever seen related to COVID. They have committed no crimes. Why are they being put under house arrest? You want to know why this story is particularly scary? Because of something that's been going around quite a bit. You see, there have been memes. Maybe they're not memes, but they're screenshots of social media posts where people claim they never got tested, but were informed that they were positive. Now, these stories are really difficult to confirm, and I'm not inclined to actually believe them, but we do get close so far. Check out this story. Mount Juliet man says even with no test, he's informed he is COVID-19 positive by state. Now, stop. Not confirmation, okay? They investigated. They found out this guy did receive a call from the state. This guy is now claiming he never got tested, but they're saying he's positive. May or may not be true. We would need harder evidence. But this is from News 4 Nashville, NBC. I tell you, this is a certified, verifiably good news. Okay, YouTube. It is a capable and credible journalistic news outlet. The reason I say this is that all of this content runs dangerously close to getting banned, but it's important we talk about. This guy's making a claim. Maybe it's not true. They investigated. He did receive the phone calls. We'll come to the story in a second. But think about what that would mean. What if you received a phone call telling you that you were positive for COVID, even though you've never been tested and have no idea what they're talking about? And then this happens. They come and place you under house arrest. Take a look at this story from ABC 13. A Kentucky couple is under house arrest after one of them tested positive for coronavirus and refused to sign self-quarantine papers. Elizabeth Linscott got tested for COVID-19 because she was planning to go visit her parents. My grandparents wanted to see me. So just to make sure that, if I tested negative, that they would be okay, everything would be fine. After testing positive, but without showing any symptoms, Linscott said the health department contacted her requesting she sign documents. I agreed to comply to call the health department if I was to go. I was to call the health department if I was to leave my house for any reason, but she chose not to sign. I had gotten a message from them, a text message that stated, because of your refusal to sign, this is going to be escalated and law enforcement will be involved. Later that week, the county sheriff greeted Linscott's husband, Isaiah, at their front door. I opened up the door and there's like 8 different people, 5 different cars. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? This guy's in a suit with a mask. It's the health department guy. And they have 3 papers for us, for me, her, and my daughter. The couple was ordered to wear ankle monitors. If they travel more than 200 feet, law enforcement will be notified. What? There's wearing ankle monitors over this. We didn't rob a store. We didn't steal something. We didn't hit and run. We didn't do anything wrong. The couple said they never denied self-quarantining. They just didn't agree with the wording of the documents. And that's exactly what the director of the public health department told the judge, that I was refusing to self-quarantine because of this. And I'm like, that's not the case at all. I never said that. Linscott said even without the ankle monitor, she had planned to be cautious. And if she needed the medical care, she would have let healthcare workers know she was infected with the virus. Well, there you can see in this still from the interview from ABC 13, they're lifting up their feet, showing that they are wearing ankle monitors. There it is. If you test positive, they will put you under house arrest. There was a time when we had in this country this really great piece of paper. Well, several pieces of paper. It was called the Constitution. And it said that they'll make no law, you know what the Constitution is. Let's stop being funny. Yeah, we don't have that anymore, man. It's Swiss cheese. It is absolutely Swiss cheese. These people, you want to talk about the wife being positive. The husband may or may not be positive. He didn't get tested. Doesn't matter. He's in the house. Presumed case. How much you want to bet that they took these people and they actually listed them as confirmed cases? I'd be willing to bet that too. Which brings me to the next story. Even with no test, he's informed he's positive. So what happens if they show up to his house and they got an ankle bracelet and they're like, we're quarantining you? He's like, I never got tested. And they're like, we don't care. Check this out. Brock Ballow expected the first call. After all, his coworker had tested positive for COVID-19, so he expected a call from a contact tracer. He didn't anticipate, however, what the tracer would tell him. She specifically said, I'm looking at it right here. You tested positive. This is a follow-up call to see how your symptoms are. There was just one major problem. Because he hadn't experienced any symptoms, Baloo hadn't been tested yet. Is it possible you misheard her? Ask News 4. I'm 100% sure that's what she said. She was looking right at it. She told me I'm in the system, looking right at it, and that you're showing positive. Then 2 more days with calls, all from tracers asking about his symptoms. The tracer said, I'm still seeing that you're positive. Courtesy call checking your symptoms. Baloo shared with News 4 investigates the phone numbers that contacted him, and all of them come from workers with the state health department. Baloo said he's concerned that if he's incorrectly identified as positive in the state system, how accurate are the numbers that are released daily? I said, I don't know what's going on, but it's wrong. I'm just another number when I'm not. A spokeswoman for the state's Department of Health confirmed they're investigating and wrote, I can also tell you there is no concern with our count of cases in regard to our reporting of those who test positive. Those entries are based on lab results, not on information provided from the monitoring team. Baloo said he'd been told by the state's health department that a third-party contractor made the calls to him, and they're now investigating to find out what happened. News 4 Investigates says that they will follow up. Perhaps they are correct. This is not confirmation, but perhaps it was a third party who made a mistake. Maybe he's not really in the system. Maybe when it comes to official documentation of who is positive, they need lab results, and this is just a probable case. Perhaps it could be. The third-party contractors know that his co-workers were infected and got tested. So they listed him in the contact tracing program, not for positive, but because of a probable case. And these third-party people got it wrong. I don't know for sure. But if the data can be wrong, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't, because again, it's not confirmed, how scary is it that they put ankle bracelets on people for testing positive? Welcome to the brave new world, man. I several months ago, I was concerned about if they started locking down states because they were talking about it. They were talking about quarantining some states. Border checkpoints were being put up between states, and these things started to get really scary. I don't know how many of you said to yourselves, it can't happen here, but I'll tell you what, if you thought it couldn't happen here, you were wrong. Literally put an ankle bracelet on people because one person tested positive. And where do we go from here? Some people have speculated that right now they're saying no mask, no service. You got to wear your mask. Well, listen, I got no problem wearing a mask. Some people are concerned. Next, they're going to say no vaccine, no service. To be fair, I personally also have no problem getting vaccinated. I really don't think there's a grand conspiracy or anything like that. I do think there is a lot of human error. That's what freaks me out. I do think there is legal authoritarianism. Like, I think, look, everybody's rushing to get vaccines out. And I'll tell you this completely honestly. You don't got to agree with me, but I'm going to get if they come with a vaccine, I'm not going to run out the front door like some people would and line up, first in line to get the vaccine. I'll wait a little bit and then probably end up getting the vaccine. I'll tell you why. Look, New York City's COVID-19 contact tracing will ask about outdoor dining, not protests. A lot of people think there's some shenanigans afoot. I do believe, within reason, yes, they should be asking about protests. I think you're nuts if you think protests aren't contributing to this. But I also don't believe there's a grand conspiracy, man. Let's be real. Look, I think Cuomo put sick people in nursing homes and killed people because he's a moron. But I think if there really was some grand conspiracy, they wouldn't have, the evil cabal wouldn't make New York City the epicenter. New York City failed. It makes Democrats look bad. Not a conspiracy, just human error. That's what scares me. So I'll tell you this. I'll wear a mask. You know why? Wearing a mask does nothing to me. I know some people have talked about oxygen concentration and stuff. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm not super worried about it. When I go out, if I'm walking down the sidewalk or to my car or something, I don't wear a mask. If I'm going into a public area, I'm going to be around people, I'll put the mask on. Why? It just doesn't matter to me. I mean, maybe that's just me because I'm in the suburbs and I'm not around a lot of people anyway, but that's just me. When it comes to the vaccine, I do have concerns that they're rushing these things and humans make mistakes. When it comes to contact tracing, I have concerns that humans are political and they'll avoid certain things. They don't want to look bad. When it comes to enforcement, I'm concerned that authoritarians will slap ankle bracelets on people. I think it's scarier than you realize. This is why I really hate conspiracy theories, because I think that they actually lend to a safer worldview. Trust me. If there really was a group of people orchestrating everything, that means there's control. And control means you don't have to worry to a certain degree. Now, they may have, criminal plans or whatever, this evil cabal. But listen, People want to believe that someone's in control because, in my opinion, it's safer. Reality is scarier. People have no idea what they're doing. New York is a disaster. They're desperately begging for money. There's riots and crime is skyrocketing. It's not a conspiracy. It's failure. And that's what's really scary. It's worse. I'm not going to pretend like there's someone in control of things because that's like this idea that someone could stop it. It reminds me of Wonder Woman, if you've seen the movie. I know it may be a silly analogy, but hear me out. In Wonder Woman, she believes if she defeats Ares, the god of war, then war stops. And Chris Pine, I believe Chris Pine's his name, the actor says it doesn't work that way. Even if you get rid of the god of war, war will still happen. Why? Because no one is in control. Now listen, you got a lot of people trying, and you got a lot of people getting things wrong. Least of all, Dr. Fauci. That guy was wrong a lot. But I don't think it's a grand conspiracy. The guy's name probably ended up in the database in that other story, Mount Juliet, because somebody made a huge mistake. They put ankle bracelets on these people because they personally don't care about your rights. And in New York, they're not going to check on protests because political reasons. But if it really was some grand scheme, New York wouldn't have been the epicenter. No. So I'll tell you what will happen for me. They'll come out with a vaccine. I'll sit back and wait a little bit, see the news, see where they're sending it off to, who's getting it. And then at some point, I probably would get it, but I'm not super worried. I've traveled the world. I've gotten tons of vaccinations. I'm fine. I don't know. Maybe when I turn 50, I'll mutate into some kind of strange, disfigured creature, whatever. I think it's fine. I think it's all silly. But I'm not going to be the guinea pig. I'll tell you that. I'll wait and see how things roll out, and that'll probably be it. But I do think there's reasons to be concerned because we need to make sure we're correcting for human error. So I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.